Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to 1970s items that failed. I do find these throwback type of videos that we're looking back at things that I probably won't know of, or things that maybe I've heard of but I didn't know what they were used for. But just things from the past pretty much that were used, or things that people used to use, or that failed. They maybe tried making them a big thing in this era or in this decade and it just didn't, people didn't really care about it. Whatever it is, I just find it pretty fascinating looking back in times I wasn't alive pretty much. But yeah, we're going to check this out and see if I firstly know any of these things, but just to see what the ideas even were in these times. But yeah, let's jump into this video. Links are also in the description to my Patreon, where you can see reactions that I can't post to YouTube, like movies, TV series, all that good stuff. But let's check this out and see some of these items.
The 1970s was a decade that had a lot of style. People weren't afraid to try new things and be different at the same time. However, the decade wasn't without some failures. In this video, we will have a look back at some of the 1970s fails that you may have forgotten about. Bell Telephone, who later became known as AT&T, unveiled a prototype telephone called the Model 1 picture phone in the 1964 World's Fair.
What?
A few of these were operational throughout the 1960s. In 1970, Bell introduced its first commercial picture phone.
What, so you can see the person? See, this does seem quite ahead of its time. I assume it's you can see the person who you're talking to on their camera, on their phone.
But the service never really caught on. They charged $160 per month for the equipment and the service, plus a fee per minute on call.
Jesus.
That would be at least $1,200 per month in today's
Okay, that's mental. It was definitely ahead of its time, but that is crazy money.
money, and that's if you never used it. The other downside of this piece of technology was that it was only intended to be used for person-to-person calls and not full rooms of people like you might see on Skype. They tried to expand the service and even came out with a Model 2, but ultimately they pulled the plug on it in 1972.
Damn.
In 1982, they tried to revive it for businesses, and in 1992, they released the Videophone 2000 for home use, but both were commercial failures. In March of 2019, a pair of Mod 2 picture phones sold for $7,575 at a New York auction.
Jeez. I mean, it's a cool idea, but the price is just mental.
Polaroid dominated the instant photography market decades before the digital camera ever did. Following the success of the SX70 and one-step cameras, Polaroid decided to enter the home movie market in
Is that a gun? A Polaroid gun? God damn.
1977. This market had been dominated by one of their competitors, which was Kodak and their Super 8 film. The Polaroid Polavision was designed to use a cartridge which resembled a small video cassette. It could be exposed and then developed in just minutes. The captured images could then be viewed on a special tabletop viewer, or if you remove the reel of film from the inside, then it could be shown on any Super 8 projector.
Okay.
The only problem was Polavision was a flop and it never really became as popular as their film cameras. You had to shoot in very bright light. Colors were flat and muddy, and they couldn't record sound the way that Super 8 cameras could.
Damn.
This became Polaroid's first commercial failure, and they ceased production in 1979. Today you can find these cameras listed on eBay anywhere from $25 to $100.
Oh, so they're still quite cheap then, so people don't really care about them. Because typically with these sorts of items that have stopped being sold like 30, 40 years ago, you'll see them just because they're, maybe not antiques, but just collectibles or whatever. They'll be expensive as hell. But these aren't even that spenny, which is probably going to show that it wasn't that good.
The Sansui Quadraphonic Sound was a 4-channel home audio system that was completely different from the 2-speaker system that people had in the early 70s.
I have no idea what this is.
Musicians had been experimenting with the 4-channel recording since the late 60s, but Sansui was the first electronics maker to develop and sell the quadraphonic amplifier for the home market in 1972. It sold for $200, which is about $1,200 today. Other
Jeez, when you think about that, the inflation is crazy, man.
competitors also introduced quadraphonic systems, and some had joystick controllers, which allowed listeners to shift the audio balance from left to right and front to back so that they could find that perfect sound. Record companies loved the idea, and some of the biggest names like Aerosmith, Eric Clapton, the Eagles, and many more released albums mixed for 4-channel stereos.
It's not too bad then.
But many consumers couldn't justify buying a new receiver for 2 additional speakers, and the concept ended in 1978. The music industry then moved on to digital recording, which was the next best thing in the market. These old quadraphonic receivers can still sell for around $200 if they are in working condition.
Oh, damn, so they've dropped in price a lot. Again, maybe that's just because they're not really beneficial to people. They are just more for like hardcore, I guess, people that love their music, or they'll just love their old school sort of systems. Maybe they'll be the ones who use it, but other than that, I guess no one's going to be going out their way to get them. But it's crazy how they've dropped so much in price. I mean, they've actually stayed the same price, but in terms of inflation, they've dropped a lot.
The 1970s saw a trend of incorporating natural food ingredients like lemon, honey, and other herbs into beauty and hygiene products.
That's still a thing, isn't it? I mean, you still got like mango flavoured shampoo and stuff.
Clairol decided to up the game with yogurt shampoo.
They say mango flavoured. Yogurt shampoo? I mean, you're not flavoured, scented. To be fair though, when you actually smell it, it does makes me want to eat it because it does smell good, but you don't want to do that, man.
In 1979.
Yogurt shampoo.
Because everyone wanted that healthy hair. Turns out the company was completely wrong. Many consumers were confused on what they had purchased, and some people even tried eating it.
Wow.
The Laserdisc was
Bro, I want to hear more about that, man. That shampoo seems like an absolute mess.
essentially a predecessor to the DVD. It was introduced in 1978 and offered consumers a higher picture quality and sound than VHS tapes.
It's just a big disc.
However, they seemed to have more drawbacks than benefits. One of the biggest was the fact that you couldn't record on them. They were also pretty expensive. They hung on for a little while and then tried to make a comeback in the 1990s, but they ultimately failed for good when the DVD came on strong. Betamax was introduced by Sony in 1975, which was 1 year before JVC introduced the VHS
Pele promoting it. God damn. These are the times we're talking about.
tape. Betamax had a superior resolution and sound quality, which was why it remained a choice of different media outlets for decades. The problem with Betamax was that Sony refrained from licensing its technology to other manufacturers, which limited the variety of movies that were available on this format. Meanwhile, JVC licensed its VHS technology to any manufacturer that was interested. Betamax's share of the VCR market fell from 100% in 1975 to 10% by 1988, and it continued to dwindle in the following years. In 1975,
Wait, strained apricots with tapioca. See, tapioca, like, they're the things that, like, bubble tea, which you have, like, a lot of, it's quite a new thing. I don't know if any of you will know. Some of you probably will. Tapioca pearls, you have that in that. I don't actually know what it is. I just know it from those drinks. But this is strained apricots with tapioca. I have no idea what this is going to be. Is it just a certain jam?
for the baby food giant
Oh, it's a baby food. God damn.
Gerber came up with a new idea. Why not create baby food for adults?
Oh,
They
that's
believed that there would be a market for this, and they couldn't be more wrong.
That is absolutely foul. How would they think this would work?
Adults were never fond of the mushy meat and food, and Gerber's singles failed horribly bad.
That's disgusting.
Downy Flakes toaster eggs were introduced in 1972. They looked like some sort of frisbee or hockey puck. They were hoping to capitalize on the popularity of other products like Pop-Tarts, but by 1975 they were removed from the store's shelves.
Toaster eggs.
Over the years, there have been several attempts to compete against the NFL.
The XFL?
In 1974, the
Oh,
World
UFL.
Football League hit the field. It made it through one full season in 1974 and most of the second season when the whole idea fumbled. Their hopes of world football domination never really made it past 13 teams, one of
Damn.
which being in Honolulu, Hawaii.
They tried it.
The swing bike was a bicycle that allowed the rider to steer the front wheel and the rear wheel. The design was patented by Ralph Belden in 1974, and it was sold on the market in 1975. They really weren't meant for transportation as much as they were for looking cool and doing stunts. It had a second steering wheel axis in front of the seat. You could ride with one wheel on the curb and the other one in the road in sort of an S shape. The bike was somewhat difficult to steer, which meant that it was easier to fall and get hurt.
That looks horrible
It
to
was
ride.
discontinued in 1978.
What the fuck?
As everyone knows, hot pants were huge in the 70s, but this product took it to a whole new level. These inflatable Wonder Sauna hot pants were designed to melt away fat from problem areas.
Oh, have a day off.
Instead of eating right and exercising, you could just wear these while watching television in your recliner and eating your favorite cookies.
Oh my days. That is
After
wild.
just days of wearing them, you could see the fat just magically disappear. If you were a guy, then hopefully the fat was the only thing that disappears. There were several different brands and variations of this product, but they were all big failures.
What the hell?
The sauna hot pants wasn't the only crazy weight loss product from the 1970s. The Twist and Tone tried to put a new twist in exercising. You could use this to lose weight, and it was supposed to be fun rather than work. Best of all, it was portable. It only took a few minutes a day at home or in the office. Really, all it looked like was a lazy Susan from the kitchen. There have been similar spin-offs like this going back to at least the 60s. This was just the latest version. However, none of these products ever hit it big, and people just looked ridiculous while they were using them.
What the fuck?
Today, most of these products aren't much more than a memory.
You can lose 5 inches off waist, hips, and thighs. Where is the science behind this? God damn. That is insane. Just from wearing inflated pants. That is something else. The Betamax was awesome at the time. My dad paid $450 for one and still recorded TV for 20 years, and I think fair enough. Then done its, it worked. What's the saying? Done itself justice, maybe. I don't know. It lasted a long time. That's pretty cool though. If I was a betting woman, I would bet those toaster eggs probably tasted like cardboard. Yeah, that's a bit wild. Is it literally just eggs? What the fuck? But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this reaction, and yeah, let me know if there's some more items from this decade, from before, from after, that you remember that are just crazy to think about how they were even thought of. Because there's still items being made now that it's the same sort of idea, right? They just seem wild ass creations that just there's no reason for them to be even here. Or like these ones where they just seem to be lying, saying they're doing a certain thing, when I don't even see how that could be possible, how these could help you lose weight. But hopefully you enjoyed, and until next time, subscribe. Peace.